Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be going over my TBR for March. And as I have it here in front of me, I think it might be a little bit ambitious. I know if you watched my last video, I was very happy about my reading in general as far as quantity and quality for the month of February. And now that I have everything for March out in front of me, I think I tried to match what I did in February, which might be unrealistic because it was an unprecedented reading month for me. Is just the amount of time I spent reading and the amount of books and pages I managed to get through. So we'll see. It might be setting the bar a little too high, but nevertheless, let's get into it. So first things first for March, priority numero uno is to finish Malazan. And if you can't see, I'm about halfway through The Crippled God, which is the last installment. So I'm just extremely excited to finish the series finally, but also like a little bit terrified. Just like I've spent so much time reading it. It's been, such a big part of my life, my reading life anyways, for the last year. And I know it'll be I said this in a previous video, but I know this is going to be the last time I'm reading it for the first time. The only time I'm going to be able to experience Malazan, not knowing what's coming next or what's happening. So definitely excited to finish it, but also, it's going to be a little bit sad when I finally do finish the main Book of the Fallen, Malazan Book of the Fallen. So that nevertheless, it's not slowing me down. I kind of told myself, don't be afraid to take your time with this. And when I first started it, I was, doing a pretty good job of that. It was hard to pick it up because I knew it was going to be kind of the last time I was reading it for the first time. So it took almost a lot of energy for me to be like, a lot of mental energy to be like, okay, I've got to pick it up. I've got to finish the series. So that'll be, the first thing I do in March. And already I'm extremely pleased with the direction the book's going. And like I said, it's just a weird feeling. It's so bittersweet, but I'm excited to finish this, and then definitely that'll kind of kick off really the Malazan content on the channel, which I'm excited to do. I don't plan for the channel to become, a solely focused on Malazan or kind of morph into this Malazan channel. That's never been my intention. I am really happy the direction I've been taking in reading. I'm, giving myself permission to kind of explore and bounce around and in genres and subgenres and between books and, all that. And I've been really enjoying that. I've actually felt like little to no burnout, even though February last month was my biggest reading month I've ever had in my entire life, and I still feel, as fresh as at the beginning of the month in terms of reading. So it'll be bittersweet, but there will be quite a bit of Malazan content this month just because, like I said, I'm excited to finally post some content. And you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, I managed to, go on a Malazan tangent in almost every one of my videos, including, my review of like Dresden Files or Morning Star. So definitely excited to finally make some dedicated content for that. If you can't tell, I'm pretty much brimming with excitement. So big things to come right off the bat at the beginning of March. So excited for that. And then kind of to balance that out, and like I said, I have been doing a really good job with palette cleansers and keeping things fresh and kind of balancing out the heavy with the light. So after I finish Malazan, it's going to be hard to set that aside. And I forgot to mention, I will be doing a reread almost, maybe not immediately after I finish The Crippled God, but I'm excited to pick up Gardens of the Moon kind of with a fresh lens. I've heard it's one of the most rereadable series out there. And that's kind of how I'm justifying, it'll be like how I'm telling myself that it'll be okay that I'll finish it. It's because rereading it will be like a whole new experience. So anyways, I do plan on rereading Gardens of the Moon. I don't know if that'll come in March, maybe towards the end, but I won't include that in that video because that's very much kind of on the back burner as far as things go. But yes, to cleanse kind of my palate of the heavy Crippled God, 1,200 pages, I plan on doing, maybe not doing these back to back, but definitely picking up some Dresden at some point this month and getting through Deadbeat and Proven Guilty. So excited for that. Dresden continues to, or Butcher continues to build, expand and build on such a great world. So yeah, excited for that. And these are kind of in no particular order. I'm someone who, when I finish a book, I kind of go over to my bookshelf and really just sit down for like 10 minutes and think about what I want to do next. I'm not someone who necessarily maps out to a T. Okay, I'm going to finish Crippled God, and then I'm going to read, one Dresden, and then I'm going to read one Discworld, and then I'm going to read, so these are kind of loosely what I hope to read in the month in no order in particular. So definitely see myself at least finishing these two, if not more Dresden Files this month. And I'm excited to do that and make those videos and just really learn all that Butcher has to offer in that whole world. So, and then going along on that same vein of palate cleansing, like I said, if you've been keeping up with the channel, it won't surprise you at all. But plan to read a couple Discworld. I was hoping to get to Reaper Man in February, but just some other books, kind of took its place. And like I said, I finished so many books, and it just was one of those that kind of fell to the outskirts. But through no fault of Discworld, I've really, really been enjoying and having a lot of fun with these books so far. So I'm excited to get further into. These are the second and third books in kind of the Death series within Discworld. So I'm definitely excited for that as well. And then going on to the kind of the quote-unquote heavier stuff, I finally, and like I said, when I reviewed these covers from Juniper, if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. I don't think it's my best video, but it does give you a good idea of, the quality of these covers and what they have to offer. But yes, it's sacrilegious. I haven't read Lord of the Rings, so this month is where I rectify that. Definitely plan on starting and obviously finishing Fellowship of the Ring this month. And kind of after Malazan, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to read these. Kind of more, how do I put this? But like more flowery prose is I found really enjoyable and kind of wordier stuff. And I think Malazan, through the lens of Malazan, I think I'll have no problem, picking up Tolkien, just because from the very, the whisperings you kind of hear of people that somehow don't like this series, it's always through the lens of, well, the writing is outdated or what have you. And I haven't read it, so I can't speak much to that, but I will say, going from like Dresden to a Malazan, and really telling the difference between those two prose. And I definitely favor Erickson's prose, and I definitely think this might scratch that itch a little bit, just because, more classical prose tend to be a little bit wordier or flowery, which is kind of what I'm used to right now. So yeah, I don't foresee any issues with that. I'm sure I'm going to love it. I've obviously watched the movies, so I know the general, narrative, but really excited to finally pick that up. So definitely finishing Fellowship of the Rings, and then I plan on also reading Two Towers as well. And I know I have a whole video on these covers, but can we just appreciate these? Juniper does such a great job with these covers, and then I don't have Return of the King with me, but all three of them, they make like a picture of the eye that you see on the front there. So just let's appreciate that. So plan on reading Fellowship and the Two Towers, but not putting any pressure on myself to wrap up Return of the King this month. I expect that might come at the beginning of April. So, but really, really excited to to finally pick up Lord of the Rings and really see my thoughts. Especially now that I can look at it with a lens of, I've been doing so much more reading lately. I almost can kind of feel my taste in like books changing. So I feel like I've got enough under my belt to maybe appreciate these a little bit more than I would have if I had picked them up, 5 or 6 months ago. So that's the story on that. And then another series I'm really, really excited to wrap up, and that is Faithful and the Fallen, the last 2 installments by John Gwynne, if you don't know. But the story on this series is I read the first 2 installments 5 or 6 months ago, and then through no fault of Faithful and the Fallen by any means, I just burnt out. And I am someone who's prone to being burned out, which is why I've been focusing so much on kind of doing the palate cleansers with Discworld and Dresden, and it has been working so far. But yeah, I wrapped up the second Faithful and the Fallen, absolutely loved it, and I don't know why, but I was just burnt out on reading, and I took like a 5-month break where I didn't read anything. So I am definitely excited to finally finish this up. Like I said, the first 2 installments were so good, and from everything I hear online, the next 2 are supposed to be even better. So yeah, really, really excited. And then also just really excited to I am a completionist, which I think sometimes does tend to lead to burnout, because it's like when I pick up a long series, it irks me not to have it finished. So I've been actively recognizing that, and being like, that's irrational, just enjoy what you're reading when you're reading it, enjoy the series for the series, but nevertheless I do get great joy out of finishing series. So hoping to, like I said, finish up I will definitely finish up Malazan, and then hoping to get to these last 2 installments. Like I said, I have quite a lot on the docket with Malazan, Lord of the Rings, fitting in a couple Discworld and a couple Dresden. And these are not first on the priority for March, is what I'd say. But like I said previously, I'm someone who, when I finish a book, I'll just go over to my bookshelf, and whatever I feel like reading out of this group of 8 or 9 is what I'll pick up. So if I finish Malazan and I really feel like I want to pick up Faithful and the Fallen next, that it might be pushed up. It's just kind of whatever I'm feeling. So anyways, that's my look at March. Let me know kind of what you guys are reading in March, what you're hoping to read. Maybe if you've read any of the books, give me some of your spoiler-free thoughts on them. And yeah, just make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.